All right, so let's talk about that right now. Congressman Tony Gonzales on our KTSA Connecticut Quality Water Softeners Newsmaker line. Congressman, thanks for making time for us. Good afternoon.
Hey, Jack. Always happy to be on the show. Just heads up, I'm outside the Capitol waiting to vote, so I don't see any Texas Democrats over here, that have bailed from doing their job.
Yeah, well, don't go near them if you do.
Exactly. Or wear a double mask.
What's the story with your letter to the Air Force about the base?
Yeah, here's the deal. Look, I am completely against catch and release. And what was happening is because of the number of migrants, I'm talking over 1,000 migrants that were being caught in the Del Rio sector. They were overwhelmed, and what was happening is they were having to release, Border Patrol was having to release hundreds of migrants every day at the local gas station, at the Stripes, right? So that's unacceptable, man. Whether migrants are getting released in Del Rio or whether they're getting in San Antonio or anywhere, that's the wrong approach. So Border Patrol agents reached out, and ICE reached out, and one of the things that we push for is to get them sent to other detention centers to be processed. These illegal immigrants have to get processed. The catch and release doesn't work and is the last thing we need to do.
So you're saying that the flights that are taking off from the base are not releasing those passengers in those other cities, but actually putting them in other detention centers?
Exactly. They're getting flown. First off, no military aircraft is used for this, right? The only thing that's used at Laughlin is the airfield. So DHS and ICE are the ones controlling these flights, and they're flying them from Laughlin to other centers to get processed, right? Because what I didn't want to have happen is these migrants, like what we're seeing now. Hell, just yesterday there was all these Haitians and Cubans and Venezuelans that were kind of overwhelming the system. I didn't want to see that those folks get released in the community without being processed. Everybody has to get processed, whether that's in Del Rio or somewhere else. The other thing I will highlight, look, this is all caused by the Biden administration. Biden did away with Title 42. Biden did away with the Remain in Mexico policy, and it has created chaos. What I've tried to do is just limit that chaos for the people that live in my district.
You can understand, though, that people would be suspicious, especially when we learned that the Air Force was telling people at the base, don't talk about this, don't take any pictures, we don't want any publicity. If it is what you're saying, it's odd that they would be act so guilty or so secretive about it.
Yeah, look, we absolutely shouldn't trust the Biden administration at all. One, we shouldn't trust them. Two, we shouldn't put anything past them. They had an open border rhetoric during the campaign that is 100% turned into an open border policy. We've seen that. Heck, they're about to strip away Title 42, and the floodgates are going to really open up. I've been very vocal on this. I've visited all the facilities. I visited Fort Bliss. I visited JBSA in San Antonio, and I'm gonna visit Laughlin Air Force Base again in the coming weeks to find firsthand, hey, this is what is exactly happening. I've already reached out to ICE to get the story on it, but it's something very different when you show up, right? Congress's job is oversight and compliance, and I'm going to be doing that to make sure none of that is happening.
So, again, just before I let you go, because I know you have to go vote, these illegal immigrants are not being released in those other cities. They're being detained at centers in those other cities. Yeah,
exactly. And so look, this crisis isn't anything new. This has been happening for 6 months, right? And in particular, the Rio Grande Valley sector, which has gotten a lot of publicity, a lot of effort has been put on that. What they were doing in the Rio Grande Valley is they were flying excess migrants. Instead of releasing them in the Rio Grande Valley, they would fly them to El Paso because El Paso had the capacity, and they would get processed there. This is the key. To me, there cannot be a catch and release. If you're releasing folks in the streets without being processed, what are you saying? You're saying we have no laws and our laws won't be followed, right? And all that's going to do is encourage more people to come across. I think folks need to be processed. whether that's in Louisiana or Texas or anywhere, they need to be processed.
All right, Congressman Tony Gonzales. Congressman, thank you. We appreciate the time today.